as a jeweler
Cek.
cherishes their gems.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi semua ya. Seperti dalam judul kita akan memulai ya. Ini kita belum mulai soalnya. Memulai kisah Kazuha yang ini. Bentar. Ngapa nggak mau pencet nih, Cok? Nah, ini dia kisah Kazuha yang ini. Kita akan selesaikan kisah Kazuha yang ini ya. Chapter Acer Palmatum. Dari situ mungkin melanjutkan event-event yang lainnya. Belum, kita cicil dulu aja ya. Mungkin ini sampai tamat kali. Ya enggak nih. Kisah Kazuha ini ya. Langsung aja lah tanpa banyak cekcok.
I only wish life could be as leisurely as this a little more
Audio gue
often.
gede banget gila.
How greedy of me.
Ini belum bertarung nih. Udah kayak gini nih audio. Nah, oke. Langsung aja ya guys. Itu ada di tadi udah. Woi, Kirby. Bayangan ungu. Nah, ini chapter Acer Palmatum ikuti target. Oke. Inazuma di bagian sini ya. Siap. Mundur dikit. Mundur banyak lah. Jangan mundur dikit. Nah. Woi, keep live. Bintang dong. Oke. Keep live tuh aku ada utang gak sih sama keep live? Coba aku cek dulu ya. Command bot. Kipi 20 gold. Ya udah nih aku kasih 20 gold dulu. Type avatar choice random blockman. Kamu mau ganti avatar? Extension aja, pakai extension.
A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems.
Avatar Among Us. Belum ada uangnya. Nih, bentar. Bintang ya. Bisa nggak jamnya ntar?
So this is a day in the life of the traveler.
Tuh,
I'm learning more about you all the time.
kurang baik apa aku?
A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems.
Ya, aku kasih ke Keep Live 20 karena aku ngutang ya kemarin ya di Discord. Jam. Keep Live. Keep Live 20 guys, kita kasih. Tuh.
A blade is like
Udah
a
ya,
tea
utang
leaf.
lunas ya.
Only those who sample it many times can appreciate its true qualities.
Kemarin tuh siapa aja yang udah? Mas Bocah udah. Keep Live udah. Grey udah apa kalau nggak salah. Sip. Ada naik buat di sana. Oke lah. Kita langsung aja ya guys.
A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their
Sudah tidak
gems.
bisa diganggu-ganggu ini. Karena kita akan story dan menikmati story di Genshin ini. Lanjut. Kita pergi ke Biako Plain. Wah, anjay, nggak lewat jalanan ya? Kita nggak lewat jalanan. Kazuha.
It's been a while since we first set foot on Inazuma. So many things have happened since then. Yeah, we've definitely made some progress on our journey. So, where should we go today?
Seseorang datang. Siapakah dia?
Hey, what the heck was that for?
Samurai. Oh, pedangnya bagus tapi.
Doesn't want to talk.
Perasaan tadi.
Alright, let's convince him to calm down a little.
Oke, kita ulti dulu. Kita akan coba skill Kazuha yang terbaru. Anjir, nggak sakit cok. Oh enggak.
So you don't have a vision after all.
Hah? Kita nggak
Seems like
vision.
I'm mistaken you for someone else.
At the very least, you should make sure you've got the right person before you go attacking them. No, wait. Even when you've got the right person, you shouldn't go attacking them out of the blue.
Have you ever met someone by the name of Kaedehara Kazuha?
Wah, kenapa nih?
He carries a sword just like you. I've also heard that he possesses an animo vision.
Kita tadi pakai
That's
Kazuha.
none of your business. Never mind. You don't look like you know anything anyway. I'm wasting.
Dia lagi nyari Kazuha, guys.
This guy's problem. Coming around here, waving that weird sword in our faces. Well, one thing's for sure. No way are we telling him any, right? Paimon has a feeling, though, that even if this guy gets to challenge Kazuha anyway, just to be on the safe side, we should go... Oh? What kind of hunch? A special connection? You mean beyond already knowing each
Dia
other?
bertarung ya untuk Kazuha.
Yeah, maybe a little. Anyway, there's no time to lose. What Paimon heard that the Crux fleet is stocking up in Rito at the moment. Let's look.
Oke guys, sekarang kita akan mencari Kazuha dan memberikan kabar bahwa ada orang aneh yang sedang mencari dia gitu kan. Nah, di mana Kazuha sekarang kita juga nggak tahu. Oh, di sini Rito ya. Di Rito Kazuhanya. Kita akan mau ngabarkan Kazuha. Kazuha akan mengabarkan Kazuha. Cukup aneh ya.
Time to go.
Loh, kok nelayan nih?
You're looking for Kazuha too, huh? Guess he must have done something impressive. Well, we took the small vessels into Rito on a routine supply run, only this time, as soon as we entered the harbor, if it's because of that battle on Nizuchi Beach, Captain Beto had a great run there too, but I don't see her. Kazuha keeps to himself most of the time. In fact, there are times when he doesn't even listen to the captain, but...
Oh, so you still don't know.
I've heard bits and pieces. Something about him blocking the
So
Raiden
no
Shogun's
Hitachi.
Muso no
Oh,
Hito.
yeah.
Is it really as big a deal as everyone's making it out to be? Really? Wow. When you put it like that, it all makes sense. He was called away earlier by some people from the Tenryo committee. I thought they'd come to arrest him at first. Turns out they couldn't have been friendlier to him. Seems like they really respect the guy.
Just a little while ago, this would have been completely unimaginable. Thank you.
Sikap E juga berubah kan, kita kan udah nggak berantem dengan ini kan, dewa petir di sini.
I'll just stay here and carry on trying to...
Udah baik semua guys di Inazuma tuh. Bentar, gelap banget wajah gua. Yes. Pergi ke markas Tenryo Commission. Ada di atas ya. Nah. Tenryo sekarang udah ramah dengan Kazuha. Dulu kan dia buronan karena ada vision. Tapi semenjak si A pun berubah ya. Dia juga berubah. Ini dia. Markasnya. Masuk. Kazuha di sini, guys.
Oh?
Oh?
It's you. Greetings. We were just discussing the repealing of the Vision Hunt decree. Since you're here, you're very...
Oh,
We
mau
invited Mr. Kaedehara
dihapus.
here to extend a gesture of goodwill on behalf of the Shogunate. Your hard work has secured for us the agreeable state of affairs that we now enjoy. Also, I've been granted the chance to correct my clan's past mistakes. The Almighty Shogun has issued a large array of directives aimed at resolving, or at least ease... The Tri-Commission has made the recommendation to use this opportunity to restore the honor of the Kaedehara name.
Distrik yang hunter itu yang nyari-nyari vision tuh pengen dihapus guys, dan Commission ngusulin bahwa ini tuh buat memulihkan reputasi klan Kaedehara aja gitu.
Regarding the history of the
Jangan
Kaedehara
dihapus
clan,
gitu.
I trust that you're already somewhat informed.
Aku nggak
In
tahu
short,
tuh.
there was once a group of select bladesmiths who served the shogun directly, responsible for upholding and further developing the... But there came a time when some of these bladesmiths revolted and fled to Snezhnaya. Both the Kaedehara and Kamisato clans were held accountable for lax oversight and entered a period of great turmoil. We later learned that the whole misadventure had been secretly orchestrated by the Fatui. Attributing all of the blame to the Kamisato and Kaedehara clans was neither. Considering Mr. Kaedehara has once more made an outstanding contribution to Inazuma, the Almighty Shogun believes he should not only be rewarded for his achievements, but also receive recompense for the excessive punishment borne by his clan in the past. In the interest of preventing further harassment of the Bladesmith clans by the Fatui, we chose not to public...
This is a true honor. I am delighted to be in a position to receive... However, would I be correct to assume that this magnanimous gesture does not come...
I can assure you that nothing could be further from the truth. We seek only to correct... With the Kaedehara clan's reputation and occupation restored, the Kaedeharas will be bladesmiths once more, and your wanderings will finally come to an end.
Jadi Shogun ini ya si A itu dan kawan-kawan lah, petinggi-petingginya ingin dia balik lagi nggak pelana nih klan Kazuha ini Kaedehara untuk balik menjadi blacksmithnya di sini gitu ya. Tapi si Kazuha ngerasa ini tuh kayak ada maunya gitu, tapi dia bilang ini hanya kompensasi, jadi nggak ada apa-apa gitu.
You will be able to lead a safe and prosperous life in Inazuma City with the Almighty.
I have grown accustomed to life among the elements. I fear I would no longer... Yet my ancestors did indeed take great pride in the name of Kaedehara. And the art of blade...
I sense some hesitation in your words. Should you accept this offer, I imagine many of the malicious rumors currently...
Malicious rumors? All we heard on the way here was so much praise that we almost wondered whether there was another Kaedehara Kazuha in town.
Well, to some, the Muso no Hitotachi is something that can never be defeated. They cannot accept the idea that Mr. Kaedehara really parried the Shogun's strike. Also, eyewitnesses saw him using the power of Electro in addition to that of Animo. As a result, the falsehood that Kaedehara Kazuha was using a delusion...
What? But that doesn't make sense.
That is correct. However, to some people, the idea of a single person wielding two elements at once is a more inconceivable notion still.
Sementara main karakter kita udah punya berapa elemen? 3 elemen ya.
This is just one of many similar rumors. I am very uncomfortable with being the subject, but perhaps if the Shogunate is willing to publicly support me, this situation...
This is precisely why I encourage you to give our offer some serious thought. It stands to...
Please, in fact, let us put this discussion on hold for the moment. Well then.
Yikes! We nearly forgot about the most important...
Iya, kita malah diskusi
Why
itu.
would such a dangerous individual be looking for me?
Mungkin itu saudara seperguruanmu, kamu punya saudara.
No. This puzzles me as much. My fighting forms were taught to me
Keluarga
by
aku
my family,
sendiri yang lain juga.
based on techniques originally developed for blade testing. We undergo rigorous training to standardize every... Over time, these techniques came to form something of a Kaedehara sword art, focused on blade testing, but with a full repertoire of combat forms.
Gitu. Jadi seni bela dirinya karena dia blacksmith ya, dia itu untuk
Those forms are quite different from the
ngetes
more practical
pedang.
ones typically used by samurai in battle. So it's hard to imagine.
All the more reason to watch your back!
Indeed. He sounds highly aggressive. And
In that case, I will send some...
thank you. I must say I am now very curious about this matter, And I will also need... I will first join the Traveler in investigating the one who attacked him.
Very well. Please stay safe.
Oke, jadi Kaedehara Kazuha bakal ikut kita untuk mencari
Let's go and track down your aggressor.
samurai tadi ya, samurai ungu tadi ya. Terus untuk bahasan Kaedehara pengen jadi blacksmith di sini atau enggak, didilai dulu. Oh, pakai detektif sekarang. Ini dia, kita ketemu si Heizo ini nih. Suruh ke tempat detektif Inazuma kan tadi tuh. Terdapat karakter sedang menjalankan quest. The heck dude, anjay, apaan quest yang mana ini ya? Tidak, quest apa guys? Ini kan quest ini lagi. Nggak akan ulangan. Nah, undangannya ntar aja ya guys. Ini nggak hilang kan? Oke, nggak hilang. Nah, ketemu kan nama Heizo. Nah, Heizonya ini nih. Tadi kan itu story quest Heizo tuh tadi yang kita cancel. Yang artinya main quest ini, yang Kazuha quest ini juga akan ketemu Heizo di bawah sini. Ayaka kalau lagi terbang nggak ramah anak.
Hey there! We'd like to ask you a quick question. Do you know if anyone around here has...
Aha! So this is the renowned Mr. Kaedehara. I've heard...
You are too kind. We are currently investigating an assault and would appreciate any help.
Oh? You were targeted in an assault? Let me think. Mr. Kaedehara is currently the talk of the town, so there are always a lot of people looking. To be honest with you, our detective agency has recently been receiving many inquiries from people. Some of them were offering us millions of mora just to gather the information they want. If these were more legitimate commissions, Sango...
Millions of mora? Whoa!
Please, accept my thanks for looking out for my privacy.
Of course. No matter what, we only take on legitimate cases. We don't make our money by... Sorry, I got a little off topic. What I'm really trying to... But I wouldn't know where to begin if we want to connect this with an assault.
Then let's put that connection aside for now. Have there been any other attacks or similar? The Tenryo Commission had very few leads, and I thought...
It's true that the commissioners aren't clued up about every little thing that goes on out in the streets. But typically, it's only... If anyone had been out there attacking people, that would be assault, in which...
Uh-oh. Looks like the trail's already run cold.
I still find it difficult to believe that whoever attacked you hasn't been causing any trouble elsewhere.
Iya sih, kenapa dia nyerang kita doang gitu? Masa dia nggak nyerang orang lain? Orang dia tadi aja salah paham kalau dikira kita Kazuha.
Few people possess your prowess in battle. So unless you were the first person he targeted, someone is certain to have been hurt by now.
Tidak semua bisa terlalu hebat.
I am well. It would cause me great grief to see someone become critically injured or lose their life. For the poor victim, this would be a...
Don't worry, we'll find him.
It seems you are every bit the selfless hero they make you out to be, Mr. Kaedehara. Surely this same concern for your fellow man...
You flatter me. Truth be told?
You are much too humble. Don't worry, I completely... Oh, actually, there was one strange incident over the last few days. Let me tell you about it just in case.
Sure. During times like...
All right then. Recently, two people went missing from the city at around the same time. One of them is a pretty well-known collector, surnamed Nagato. The other...
Amenoma. Now there's...
Right. Yuya is the nephew of Amenoma Togo. Two grown men going missing at the same time. I recalled this because Amenoma Yuya is also an accomplished martial artist.
Understood, though it seems highly unlikely to me. I neither know this man, nor do I have any idea why he may...
Sure, can't hurt. We never know what we might find out.
Thank you, Ryuji. We'll start by making...
Sounds good.
Dia nggak, si Kazuha meragukan nih apa bukannya sama saya gitu. Tapi kata MC karakternya, ya udahlah nggak aja bantu Ryuji gitu. Udahlah dua-duanya aja gitu kan. Kali aja kita nemu petunjuk dari kasus yang lain. Saling kenal.
Yes, the Kaedehara and Amenoma clans were both members of the Raiden Gokaden. Historically, there have always been deep links. After I returned to Inazuma, I visited Mr. Amenoma to pay my respects.
Untuk silaturahmi bahasa Indonesia gini awet.
Yes, you may recall the story of the Raiden Gokaden from the Iridori Festival.
Though all bladesmiths trace that, as an example, the Amenoma art strives to emulate the abiding patience and determination of water, as it turns stone to sand. There is nothing mystical to our work. There is only practice, day in and day out. And as for the art of the Kaedehara clan,
Ishin
I
art.
believe it's called the Ishin art.
That's right. Ishin art strives for complete harmony between blade and mind from the moment that
Wah,
forging
ini
begins.
teknik-teknik blacksmith guys di
For only a
ini ya.
blade thus forged can capture and convey
Di
its
Deviat.
maker's thoughts and feelings, and eventually become an extension of its wielder's will.
Indeed. Most samurai choose their blades, but an Ishin blade chooses its owner. You are, without a doubt, the most worthy wielder of an Ishin blade. It gladdens my heart to see that although the Kaedehara clan has fallen on hard times, it...
You overestimate me. My actions are guided by my own personal sentiment. But let's get back on topic. The purpose of our visit today is to gather some information on your missing nephew. We hope to assist with the investigation. It may turn out that this case is connected to another we are pursuing.
Ah, yes. My nephew.
Terus sekarang mau mana kabar?
He didn't say a word before he left, which is very... But I've done what I can so far. Worrying is futile.
Pagi-pagi guys nih.
All
Langsung
I
ngantuk.
can do now is wait for the news from the
Nah,
Tenryou.
ini
That there was a
makanya
collector
kita
involved
datang
in the
guys.
disappearance too. Know any?
Yes. On the morning that Yuya went missing, he
Dengan
gave me a
tatapan
very
serius dan bilang,
cryptic look and
"Ini
said that he was
sesuatu
going to
bagus,
give me a
oke."
great gift. I believe he went to collect the item from Mr. Nagato after that. The next thing I heard... Yes. Strange, isn't it? I wonder what could have...
Do you have any thoughts on what Yuya may have wanted to give you?
If I had to guess, it must have been some kind of rare weapon. Otherwise, he's never been particularly interested in blade forging, but has always had a fondness for blade test. He is extraordinarily talented in martial...
Truth be told, we have some information that you may find to be objectionable. The person we are looking for, he attacked this friend of mine. Based on the evidence we have gathered so far, only Yuya seems to match the suspect's profile.
What? No. Absolutely impossible. Yuya is not that kind of person. He is humble and kind. Even his training is done with the goal of calming his mind. He has never gotten into a fight before.
Is that so?
Oh, jadi Kazuha tuh
Yes.
mikirnya
If there's one thing I can say for certain, it's that Yuya would never draw his blade without a very good reason.
mikirnya Yuya yang nyerang kita.
With that said, it's equally out of character for him to just disappear. I also cannot know what course of action he might be capable of if coerced or otherwise compelled by circ. Anyway,
Emang tadi pedangnya
should you
bagus
find
itu,
him,
pedang yang
please let me know as soon
ungu
as
tadi.
possible.
Don't worry, you have our word.
Nggak kayak biasa-biasanya.
From the sound of that, Paimon doesn't think Yuya was the one who attacked us as well.
Yes. It sounds as if something happened. Let's pay a visit to the
Oke, kita ke rumah Nagato guys. Gua nggak tahu sih Nagato yang mana. Tapi ada di situ. Oke. Terbang aja lah. Anjir. Nani. Ya, jauh banget. Aduh, udah teleportasinya. Swing Sonic the Hedgehog. Lewat cok. Mana yang rumahnya kebakaran? Pak Nagato? Nagato rumahnya kebakaran ya?
I'm very sorry, but we cannot afford to pay what we owe right now.
Oh, karena
My husband has
ngutang.
gone missing, and I'm still trying.
No, you misunderstand us. We are here to help with the investigation.
Ah, I see. I thought the debt. I'm sorry you have to see me in this dreadful state. Has some new information come out? Do you know where he's gone?
Itu
I'm
dia
afraid
bro,
we don't
karena
have any
utang
new
guys,
information
makanya
at the moment.
dibakar.
We're still trying to find out. With this
Dicuri
in mind,
itunya.
can we perhaps ask some questions about your family?
For example,
That's a long story. Ever since he'd always get so
Oh,
animated
dia
when he was showing
nanya
them to me.
sebagai kolektor,
I knew
kenapa
nothing
dia
about the
punya banyak
items myself,
utang?
but seeing how enthusiastic and excited they made him, I was everything was fine when we first got met. He lost his sense of restraint. He started buying more and more things, and even our expenses really spiraled out of control when he started getting interested in weapons. It was awful. There were days when he wouldn't sell them, wouldn't even touch them. Just sat there I'm happy he has a hobby, and I'm willing to support him. But making ends meet has to come first. On the last day that I saw him, I gave him an ultimatum. I said, if he refused to sell his collectible...
whoa!
And that led to an argument.
Actually, it didn't. Generally, he's a quiet man who likes to go with the flow. On most things You must understand, I never would have dreamed of threatening him with divorce if after I said those words, he froze and was silent for a long time. When he finally spoke, he awkwardly mumbled. His voice was so meek and pitiful that I felt an urge to take everything back. But then what? If I didn't draw the line, what would happen to our family? Had I not
So
indulged
tahu
his
nih
bad habits,
main
we wouldn't
karakter.
have found ourselves in such a predicament. And I also don't know if he had actually come to his senses, or if he was The next thing I heard was that our warehouse had caught fire, and both he and the buyer had...
I see. Ame no Mayuya came to purchase a weapon from Mr. Nagato. During the sale, a fire...
At first, I assumed they must have gotten into an argument but my husband has never been one to negotiate. He never even haggles when he's out buying groceries, so it's hard to imagine him getting into a fierce argument.
Maybe he...
I don't know. He just disappeared. Perhaps he's too afraid to come home, now that all his collectibles have been lost in the fire. Even though I'm still a little mad at him. We're a family. And I want us to face our family's crisis together. As long as he's willing to turn over a new leaf, I know we can work things out.
Please don't get upset. There could be more to this situation than meets the eye. If collecting things is a habit that Mr. Nagato had his whole life, but the information we gathered from the other side suggests Ame no Mayuya is also a mild-mannered man who would not
Berarti
be
ada orang
likely...
lain konfliknya guys.
This situation...
A little confusing. More like...
Let's try a change of scenery and see if we can piece together. Rest assured, we'll notify you if we find anything.
Thank you
Jadi Mr. Nagato, Mr. Yomiya itu Yon apalah itu.
Based on the
Dua-duanya
information we've
baik.
gathered so far, I can only surmise the fire at the warehouse likely played a part in how the situation... Do you have any thought?
Well, I was thinking that... Nope, never mind. Paimon's brain needs to rest for a while. Over to you.
Curang banget, bakalan itu mungkin hanya teman. Ini kayaknya.
An interesting explanation. I was also... Amenoma Yuya is an expert on swords. He could have noticed some problematic details about Mr. Nagato's collection. Maybe he recognized a blade as a fake, or a well-known stolen item. Either way, after they thought a fire would destroy everything. But then the Tenryo Commission began investigating and uncovered some incriminating details, so they fled to protect their secrets. But it's a far-fetched theory. One fact that I keep coming back to is that Amenoma Yuya is polite and well-mannered, while Mr. Nagato is Mr. Nagato, being heavily in debt, is also the only one of them with the potential motive to disappear after the fire. The more I ponder it, the more puzzling it becomes. Just what could have happened there? Right. Although the time frame seems to broadly match, Amenoma Yuya lacks a key distinguishing feature of the attacker. Namely, that he is principally a practitioner of the blade testing techniques of
Darn! We thought we could get 2 birds with 1 stone.
Let's keep going. If we can solve the case, both Mr. Amenoma and Mrs.
Okay, but...
Let's head out of the city and check out the warehouse. There's still a chance...
Oke, jadi kita bakal ngecek gudangnya itu ada di luar kota Inazuma di sini. Gudang yang terbakar. Mungkin kita agak cepat kali ya, udah 32 menit nih.
Wait, I hear something ominous.
This must be another one of those sounds as sketchy as that whole thing seems. You did put it to good use when we were chasing down that vision thief at Beto's tournament.
Dia bisa dengar sesuatu dari angin.
Picking up a strong scent in addition to the sound.
Apa nih? Apakah ada yang invisible?
There's nothing here.
It's gone now, but I can still... It felt very much like that ancient presence in Inazuma.
Tatarigami.
Indeed. But this we should remain vigilant.
Oke, kita harus pelan-pelan mendekati dia. Ini aja.
So it's an
Gudang bawah tanah.
The source of the Tatarigami energy has long since left. Judging from the concentration, I would have to conclude...
Mrs. Nagato said her husband used to hang around...
It could well be that he was already under the influence of Tatarigami energy at that time. From what I've been told, Tatarigami does not turn on, but most will develop a stubborn streak upon being exposed to the Tatarigami's unfulfilled will. Mr. Nagato had an interest in collecting to begin with. The influence of Tatarigami could explain why he...
So what should we do now? Good.
Step back. I'll open the door and take a look If we don't open this door, we can move You needn't worry. Both of us have faced far greater dangers than this.
Iya sih, kita pernah menghadapi yang bahaya dari ini. Oke.
What's down there?
Everything's buried in debris. I can't... It looks like the fire caused a cave-in, reducing the entire warehouse to rubble.
That was too scary! Paimon was so sure that the warehouse...
All we can do now is keep searching in the direction that the 2 ordinary humans, entangled with the Tatarigami. Yes, let's go. Quiet your mind.
Ikuti bawahnya jarak tunjuk. Wow, tiba-tiba ada kabut hitam. Nani, ini dia. Tunjuk ini, tunjuk. Oke, masih situ. Jauh juga. Oke, apakah di gudang ini? Terjun lagi.
From this point, the trail appears to... The main source of the Tatarigami energy continued on into the distance, but a small portion remained here, and seems to be dissipating slowly.
Pecah dua, guys. Ikut coba.
Look at all those hairy churls. They're acting really strangely.
Something seems to be drawing their attention. Let's take a closer look.
take a closer look. Apa harus dibunuh? Oh, harus dibunuh. Terus kita punya Kazuha guys, jangan takut. Kecilin dikit ya guys.
Look at this red stuff.
By the looks of it, a letter written on a piece of torn clothing. The ink is bone dry.
Okay.
Well, let's take a look.
Baca. Wah, nggak jadi guys. Banyak banget.
According to this letter, a conflict arose because Yuya started the fire that destroyed the warehouse and wounded Mr. Nagato in the fight. Mr. Nagato kept chase as long as he could, eventually stopping here to write this letter when his strength gave out.
So, where is he?
He was not only mortally wounded, but also under the heavy influence of Tatarigami. Add to that the fact that its aura seems to have attracted a horde of monsters.
Mati guys.
I'm afraid whatever traces there may have been of his fate beyond after this point, they've since been disturbed by the hilly churls. There's nothing more for us to find here. Yes, right now we need to uncover some more important truths. If Amenoma Yuya is attacking other people indiscriminately, then the longer we take to find him, the more people risk meeting the same trap.
Right, so let's get moving.
I wouldn't be surprised if he too felt, for a practitioner of the martial arts, the easiest desire to inflame all the clues that at first seemed disparate and disconnected. It seems that now we know the thread that runs between them. I have a hypothesis that, if it's correct, not only explains the series of events leading to the two men's disappearance, but also zeroes in on the attacker's identity.
Wait, you figured it out? So these two cases are connected after all?
Connected bro, pasti.
But it's something of an outlandish idea. I will only be able to confirm my suspicions once we've met him in person. On with the search.
Dia kerasukan.
At any point now, we may find ourselves in danger.
Tatano apa gitu. Terus ke bawahnya cari petunjuk. Oke, kita kan itu baunya dan cari petunjuknya. Bentar ya, kita samping kanan dulu. Oke. Ini. Oh. Bisa lewat udara gini tuh orang. Okay. Next clue.
He seems to have stayed here for a long time.
Why here? Is there anything special about this place?
I'm not sure. But on closer examination, I sense that the aura may have lingered here at several different points in... Show yourself! It's no use hiding anymore.
Ini dia nih. Samurainya.
Kaedehara Kazuha. It's you, at last.
Aha! So it is that. What's your problem, huh? What could you possibly have against Kazuha?
Indeed, there should be no enmity between us. If it is Amenoma Yuya that stands before us. But what if instead of facing Amenoma Yuya, we are in fact facing the blade in his hand?
Kan bener kan pedangnya, Cok. Pedangnya bagus.
Now that you mention it, it is giving off a strange light. Whoa, whoa! Surely you don't mean... Are you serious?
Tatarigami energy often lodges itself within physical objects, then works to subtly affect any living organ. The blade has resided in Mr. Nagato's warehouse for many years, affecting his state of mind. And more recently, or rather, as a means to occupy.
You're sharper than I thought. You've already deduced the truth of the matter. Many, many years ago, I was forged by a famed bladesmith of the Ishin tradition.
Musiknya mantap.
I was his as a descendant of the Kaedehara clan. You should be able to guess our greatest regret.
I presume it has something to do with the Raiden Gokaden.
Indeed. At that point in time, he failed to live up to the Raiden Shogun's expectations. In the end, he was a bladesmith of great renown, a master of his craft. There was nothing that he could not accomplish. Oh, and sure enough, in the end, he achieved what he had set out to do. All of his life's work, his wisdom, he not only bestowed upon me the greatest of strength. In her conceit, the Raiden Shogun lost not only the single most perfect blade in the entire world.
So... swords?
The people of the time in which I was born never believed I had that kind of power. They saw me as a mere blade, a sharp and well-crafted one. But after the death of my creator, I decided to leave Snezhnaya and began my long quest to return to the distant land of Inazuma. Moving from one person to the next, I controlled the minds of countless hosts along the way, each bringing me one step closer to my ancestral home.
Pembalasan dendam, guys.
To face the full force of the Raiden Shogun's blade and prove my power, the might of Ishin art.
Ah, so Amenoma Yuya was not your first victim. Tell me, what happens to those you've possessed when you've finished using them?
My hosts? Who cares what happens to them? They are but tools that serve my mission. When they got tired, or injured, or unusable, I hopped to the next one in line. All I needed them for was to take me back to Inazuma. After I returned to Inazuma, I decided to bide my time in Nagato's warehouse. And at long last, I'm approaching my journey's destination. By Amenoma Yuya's body, Kaedehara Kazuha, you stood against the Raiden Shogun's Muso no Hitotachi. There can be no other to serve as my host for what is to come.
Jadi pulang ini ingin mencari Kazuha karena ingin merasuki Kazuha. Kazuha ini, kenapa nih?
It's fine.
Kenapa gini?
Look at you!
Written in the stars. Kamisato art. Sumetsu. Take flight.
Submit to me.
Okay, good. Kenapa tuh tadi audionya?
Or I will strike you down to...
Your bluff's fooling no one!
Lost. I can never lose. It is this... Even if you defeat me here, he is but a puppet that can be replaced. The end result is the same. I will... And even if I were to lose by any means necessary...
Your fighting style. It is indeed, but from your movements, I sense only hatred and arrogance.
Really?
As I've mentioned before, the forms of... Since the blade is currently possessing Amenoma Yuya's body, its movements, if you ask me, the mania is probably due to your desperate, single-minded ambition.
Are you trying to claim that I am on his deathbed? He passed to me all of Ishin art's secrets, the little that you know. In that regard, why?
Because all of that is in the past. I've been wondering why you've not caused more trouble in all the years that you've been in Inazuma. If you are in... Now that I've seen inside your mind, everything finally makes sense. You weren't biding your time.
Ini filosofi nih. Traps.
After all the time that's passed, you have grown weak. To the point that you are now unable to acquire a new host without making physical contact.
Oh, that's right. Paimon remembers now. Mr. Nagato had a habit of never touching his collectibles.
Only when Mr. Nagato witnessed his wife's distress and decided to sell his collectibles did you finally have an opportunity to reach out to Amino. Well, that brings me to my second point. You were determined to fulfill your maker's ambition, whatever the cost. But this ambition is too grand, and I think you realized your limitations long ago. The more you clenched your teeth and pressed forward, the greater your fear of losing everything you had achieved grew, and the more you wished to run from the truth. But the way I see it, what began as an ambition has long since become a delusional fantasy.
What would you know about any of this?
You returned to Inazuma to prove the unparalleled brilliance of Ishin art. But to make this arduous journey, you committed countless atrocities, even if you were to sever that divine light. Is this truly the outcome that your maker would have desired? Sure, you inherited the secrets of Ishin art. But even as you made your journey to honor this legacy, you treated the ones... How could you possibly unleash the full potential of Ishin art when you act in perfect discordance with the principle of harmony?
Silence, you blabbering... I must achieve my goal. I will concede that you are most perceptive. You see my predicament clearly. But you also underestimate my resolve.
And you should face reality.
Easy for you to say. Facing reality offers me nothing. I have no need of anything that would stand in my way. Not hesitation, not... It is pointless to argue further, descendant of the Kaedehara clan. If you wish to save this man, then offer me your body in exchange.
How stubbornly you stick to your wayward path. I do not believe for a second that you can challenge the almighty Shogun in your current state. So
What? Surely you're not
Very well. Then fine, once we have dealt with them.
And as for your end of the bargain, if you lose, you must release Ame no Yuya from your control.
Taruhan, guys.
This is the only way to save Ame no Yuya. If we don't do... The Cursed Blade's strength is currently very weak, and I sense he's hesitating. This suggests his heart is still... The power of the Tatarigami lies in intensifying existing sessions. This is the reason Mr. Nagato and Ame no Yuya fell prey to it. Since I don't have any similar... Even if things take a turn for the worse, we have a chance here to save an innocent victim. I am willing to accept the risks in...
Your disdain for me betrays your woeful ignorance. Now,
Kazuha?
I felt a little dizzy at first. It's all right. So far, this was as I expected. I will.
What should we do next?
We find some enemies. Although this blade has endured much turmoil, it probably hasn't experienced many real fights. If a blade built for Ishin art cannot enter a state of harmony between blade and bearer, if he wants to avoid reality, then we need to fight until he has no choice but to face it. He shouldn't last long in an intense combat situation.
Wait a minute! Paimon remembers hearing about... Since the Takasukasa clan abandoned that secret base, it's been held...
All right.
What about Ame no Yuya?
The blade says he'll let Ame no Yuya trail us silently. Although he hasn't regained his own
Are we sure this is a good idea? Okay, fine.
Oke, guys. Pedangnya udah di tangan kita nih. Lagi taruhan si Kazuha dengan pedangnya itu. Gue bingung deh. Kenapa ya? Audionya tuh nggak pas gitu. Oke, ini dia Karonin di atas sana. Satu ambil dulu. Nah, ini dia. Oke, Kazuha. Ini dah audionya tuh kayak patah-patah loh. Kenapa ya? Kita main cepet aja guys, udah 60 menit anjay. So, masuk lagi dalam kalangan khusus. Oke, kita main cepet aja. Oh, pedangnya mana? Wow. Wow. Anjir, pelan-pelan, Cok. Tadi ada. Tuh. Itu apa tuh? Bentar guys, kita harus ngecek dulu senjatanya. Prized Isin Blade. Saat memancar sepanjang tak menang musuh. Area start dengan 180 dan menggunakan HP sebesar. Wow. Efek ini terpecah sebuah kontak dapat mendapatkan orang karakter pengguna senjata ini berkurang. Oh. Mereka berkurang 50% tapi.
It's my lucky day. The wind knows me. As one with wind and cloud.
Oh, kita tahu dah kenapa bisa isi darah biar si Kazuha nggak mati nih di sini. Kalau nggak bisa isi darah, Kazuha mati nih.
All right. The blade is performing largely as I expected. Having gone, though he's making every effort to persevere, I do not think he can last much.
Something else on your mind?
How strange. Rather than trying to control me, let's keep going.
Ini nggak berusaha mengendalikan Kazuha nih. Oh, jangan lupa guys, chest. Ya, di sini ada chest juga nggak ada lah ya.
Time to go.
Oke. Kosong, biar aja itu. Sini Oke, rolling 3. Jebret. Damage-nya sedikit, cuma 400 doang. One, two, three, four. Oh, anjir gua kira. Saya.
Into the wind. Fallen leaves.
Jebret.
The wind knows me.
The heck. Bocoran dulu deh.
Something's up with the blade.
Jadi makin gelap.
I can sense that his strength is slowly fading away. He cannot hold out much longer. If he keeps persisting,
What would that do to us?
I will be careful with it. He also says he does not have any plans to give up. He's still trying to achieve his goal.
Oke. Terus masuk dan kalahkan semua musuhnya terus. Oke. Kazuha, come on. Pintu. Anjir.
Cheap tricks.
Go.
One with nature.
Shoot. Anjir. Nggak ada damage nih.
The wind knows me.
Oke, ulti.
The birds
Oke,
call.
Cuy. Oke.
Are you okay? It looked like you were really struggling.
Yes,
The shine's grown a bit dimmer again. It doesn't.
perhaps this time we'll finally have a chance to...
True form? What are you? Is this the same blade as before? It looks like a piece of junk.
Anjir, udah
If you
tinggal.
choose to continue in the state you're in, you wouldn't even be able to beat samurai and... Maybe you did truly wield power to rival the Shogun's light when first forged. But the long journey from... It barely needs stating anymore. Your ambition is a flight of fancy. I finally figured out why it was that you agreed to my bet. You wanted to reach a state of harmony with me. For perhaps then you would... But regrettably, we are nothing alike. I will never understand your obstinacy and cruelty, nor can... The only one who truly understood you had already passed away by...
Here they are! Take them down!
Where do they keep coming from? Yup. We can help.
Don't worry. I'll use my own... It's just more of the same.
Oke, dia bakal pakai pedangnya sendiri. Mana pedangnya? Oke, ini pedangnya. Kita akan lihat. Fillet Blade. Bintang 3. Waduh. Saat mengenai target 50% untuk melakukan. Bintang 3, guys. Oke, ini dia pedangnya. Ini lebih mending, guys. Ini damage-nya menyerang tuh 800. Ini sakit banget. Mati Kazuha gua. Koplak. Oke, untung dia ini darahnya ini ya. Anjir 100 sekarang ngedamage-nya. Oh, kok full lagi? Anjir, gua harus pakai item ini. Back makanan anjir. Sakit gila. Oke, good.
You fought way better with your own sword.
You are a true Kaedehara in flesh and in spirit. No one knew anything of my story throughout my travels, nor did I tell. I thought that if I could achieve Ishin harmony with you, perhaps there would.
But in this too, you have failed.
Indeed. No matter how hard I tried, too much time has passed.
Iyalah udah.
My physical state is poor and without
Set
proper
Naya aja di mana set Naya?
I can only disguise my true appearance behind an outer sheen.
Kita nggak tahu.
Yours is the blade that took on the Muso no Hitotachi. And what a magnificent blade it is. Perhaps...
Actually...
What?
Forging and maintenance are both important for a blade, but they are not everything. This blade has traveled the land with me for many years, and we have formed a close bond during skill, blade, determination. There is something else I must tell you. Though your maker may not have been Tatarigami as a malevolence from the ancient past, though you tried to cooperate with me while I was wielding you, the part of you
I sensed it, but
I resisted its temptations because I wanted to save Amenoma Yuya. I feel a great sense of regret for you. The moment you embarked on this journey, you lost the only person who could have ever You have known this for a long time.
he gave me everything. How could I possibly... I said to him, do not worry. How could I...
Aww.
I believe our bet is now settled. I have nothing.
Where are you going, Kazuha?
He now has neither the ability nor the motivation to cause further harm.
Mungkin kita tinggalin dia gitu aja nih.
When I touched the hilt for the first time, it's as if I was transported to a strange dimension. A bladesmith lay quietly on the bed, his frail face barely visible under the moonlight. His breaths were weak. A newly forged blade lay by his side, listening attentively to his final words.
Wow.
Indeed. While in exile in Snezhnaya, the bladesmith eventually learned the truth behind everything. He spent the rest of his life in the forge. Not to vent his frustration and hatred, he felt intense regret at being tricked by the Fatui, but he could never again return to his homeland. His sole wish was to one day return his single, so he instructed this sentient blade to find a way back to Inazuma, no matter how long or how hard the journey. All he wanted to show was that they once shone brilliantly as blade and smith.
So that's the truce. But after that, the blacksmith's intentions were warped by the Tatarigami.
Right. I believe the bladesmith might never have known that the power he worked with was that of the Tatarigami. This blade has committed unforgivable atrocities, but only because it lost its original master. No one...
Shake?
Yes. Time would not wait or stop because of his determination. While the world moved on, his ambition remained stubborn. He seems to have calmed down, though.
Oh, kira kita tinggalin dia tapi balik lagi nih, cuman ngobrol sesaat doang.
When I look back at the past, I once told him that I would pay any price to fulfill his wishes, but darkness and slaughter numb the mind. Over time, I lost sight of the difference between gratitude and grudge. Not only did I fail to fulfill his ambition,
You are finally seeing reality clearly.
since we agreed to the terms of the bet, I will honor the agreement and release him.
Oke,
I
ini
still
dia.
cannot bring myself to forsake his ambition. It is the entire purpose for my existence. So, may I ask you to help me fulfill the...
Hey! Now you're adding yours into the mix too? Jeez, don't push your luck, mister.
It has to be done in this order. At least hear what I have to say. And if you don't agree, I will still release Ame no Mayuya as promised. My physical form, as well as the knowledge I possess, should still be of some value to you.
His attitude has grown a lot milder. What do you think, Kazuha? Should we give him a chance?
Kasih lah, ambil pedangnya.
Let's hear it.
Kenapa kita nggak dapat pedangnya sih?
Thank you all. When I was first, alas, after, nor have I ever had the chance to prove my fights were devoid. You are a fine warrior. I would like to request your hand in...
Oh?
I will release Ame no Mayuya and restore his consciousness. You must have plenty of reasons to both hate me and...
Understood. Then let's start by waking him up and seeing if he...
Oke, jadi
I see. He used my body to inflict harm on others. I utterly despise him and his actions.
berubah.
But since he stayed true to your agreement by releasing me, he must still have some remaining semblance of honor. If a duel can help to set this state of affairs in order, I am willing to put myself forward. I do not wish to be a mere victim in this story.
There's no need to worry. We'll vouch for your innocence to the Tenryo Commission.
Thanks for your help. Who knows how this would have ended without your intervention.
All right, then let's move on.
Oke,
More Ronin
kita
could appear at any moment. We can't stay. In any case, for a final duel, I think we should aim for a greater sense of ceremony.
mau di mana nih? Duelnya. Duel terakhirnya di mana, guys? Oke, kita keluar. Tadi cuma dapat satu chest ya, guys, di tengah-tengah.
is she trying to communicate?
Oh, kalau hujan emang ada yang komunikasi dengan kamu, ya kah? Excellency-nya siapa ya? Oh, lupa ceritanya kah? Oke. Oh, gila intens banget duel terakhir hujan-hujanan di. Gua nggak tahu nih di mana. Kayaknya di tempat ini deh dekat-dekat perairan gitu. Nah, kan bener. Wah, gila sih. Ini emang suasananya dibuat hujan sih kacau. Ide.
This reminds Paimon a bit of the Crux class. Yep, we still can't let our guard down. Even still. Even if he's weak. Are you ready?
Ready? Okay. Successor of Ishin art, Kaedehara Kazuha.
Successor of Amenoma art, Amenome Yuya.
Honored to cross blades with you.
It is my honor also.
Nggak mungkin dong. Oh, kita yang gerakin. Ini adalah pedang guys. Jadi kita akan fokus dengan pedang aja. Wih. Bisa gitu. Samurai dia tinggi sekali. Dia mungkin 2 meter. Kazuha 1,6 mungkin ya. Ini adalah pertarungan pedang. Oke, kita terus melawannya. Tahan terus, kuat juga loh. Keren tuh, kayak Mato di Naruto, enggak? Kayak bapaknya Naruto. Tuh, wis gokil. Wah, lama juga pertarungan pedang. Udah. Salah sendiri kamu nggak punya ini. Tuh. Tuh. Biar cepet aja guys, kelamaan tadi ini. Anjir, sakit juga. Terbang.
Thank you for the... Although he appears battered and broken, in your hands it seems he's regained his sense of savage cruelty has completely...
You also fought well. I'm sure he... There are a few things that
I must apologize to you for all that
Oh,
has
kita pakai pedang ini
transpired.
tadi.
You need not seek my forgiveness. It is too late for all.
I do not wish for forgiveness. I only hope that you will see I strayed far from the I beseech you.
Yes, I too trust Miss...
Thank you. So
This blade has also told me that he has another wish. He would like to visit the Amenoma smithy. Maybe we can go back there together.
What does he want to go?
I'm not sure, but I...
Mau dilebur, suruh lebur. Lebur saja saya gitu kali. Kemudian jadikan pedang baru apa gimana gitu kan. Tolong lebur saya nih bang. Jadikanlah pedang baru. Nggak ramah anak guys, Ayaka guys, kalau lagi terjun gini. Dia roknya ini banget sih.
I am sorry to have troubled you.
A prized Ishin blade. Turned weapon. Considering their forging, but I have some good news as well. Ryuji from the Bontons.
Really? Is he okay?
Yes. Badly wounded. And now that Yuya is back...
I think I know what you want.
What's wrong, Kazuha? Is the blade
Yes. He said he wants to take control.
What? No way! Hasn't it learned?
He tells me that he's thought of another way to fulfill his maker's wish. And he assures me that he won't use my... I have decided to let him do. Thank you. I will explain my reasons later. Okay. I am ready. Let us begin.
Oke, jadi apa nih? Apakah jadi blacksmith? Dirasuki Kazuha, oke. Setelah itu
My power is almost spent. Without him, my eventual demise is inevitable. But if I abandon the future to give everything I have in this moment, my physical form can be forged anew.
Everything? You mean...
Yes. The cost is my entire consciousness. You were right. There's nothing that I can accomplish now. But there's still a chance for Ishin art. Once remade, I will be a valuable resource for your studies. Ishin lives on, and its finest hour is yet to come. Even if I am not the one to prove its worth to the Shogun, as long as it is an Ishin blade, crafted by Kaedehara hands, it will still fulfill his final wish. Thank you, son of the Kaedehara clan. Over the years, my real name has been forgotten by all. I'm ashamed to utter it, yet it remains strong in my mind. Kagotsurube Ishin. This name is now yours to keep.
Rest in peace.
Udang baru Kazuha, guys, ditempel sendiri.
So, that's why he said it had to be done in that order. His consciousness will disappear forever.
Kagotsurube Ishin. It seems like deep down he disapproved of his own actions. Only in the final moments, before his
Seems like he really wanted to...
The same fervent ambition that gave him the motivation to keep going forward. Speaking for myself, I'd rather see him recognize and atone for his mistakes. I understand. Perhaps this is a flaw in my... Hearing his wish to rival the divine light touched something inside of me. Your quest to face the gods and trace your sibling inspires me in the... After everything I've seen, perhaps these pursuits fascinate me a little more than...
Oh, Kazuha.
I will continue to support you from this point on. Know that you will have my assistance.
Terima kasih.
Wait! Shouldn't we also...
Oh, you're right. And it's also time to give him a...
Nah, oke, jawaban Kazuha punya pedang isi-isi itu, guys, tadi. Apakah itu pedang baru yang ada di sini sekarang? Bukan. Ini Freedom Sword.
A blade.
Pedangnya warna merah, bagus banget tadi tuh. Kazuha juga warna merah kan ininya. Aura-auranya tuh. Oh, pantesan dia kok angin tapi warna merah, guys. Ternyata dia blacksmith. Cocok banget jadinya.
You've returned. I hear that the issue has been resolved. The Tenryou Commission has already attended to the danger at the warehouse. The investigation into Amanoma Yuya should
Wow! You sure kept your...
Then we needn't recount all the details again. Now, as to your earlier offer, I wish to give you my answer.
What's this?
Kagotsurube Ishin. A weapon crafted using a long-lost blade forging art of the Kaedehara clan.
Bagus banget
By
lagi.
means of a series of fortuitous events, I was able to recover and restore him. And so, it looks like I will likely continue with my journey across the nations, learning more about this blade as I go.
I see.
The Kaedehara clan has always been a family of bladesmiths. So, were I to accept your goodwill, I may find myself embroiled in conflicts between the...
You misunderstand. That was most
I am aware. but I still desire to continue walking my own path.
Very well. I can understand. Then let's pretend. However, if you should ever change your mind or find yourself in need of the shogunate.
Great.
Where will you travel to next, Kazuha?
I'll probably take. As for my next destination, let's see where the wind takes me.
Wah, quest selesai guys. Itu bagian 1. Oh ya, udah habis guys. Oke, segini dulu guys, 1 jam 16 menit itu dia perjalanan tentang pedang dan Kazuha gitu ya, blacksmith. Tapi sayang banget kita nggak ada pedangnya, gitu gila sih. Warna merah bagus, mungkin sama kayak Blackcliff kan. Wah, ganteng banget sih ini di look. Mungkin sama kayak Blackcliff kan ya, nggak beda guys. Blackcliff modelnya gini, ininya hitam kanan kiri luarnya. Udah, sampai sini dulu. Tolong maaf, thank you guys. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Peace bro.